Hello and welcome to Flashback, the games you loved, the stories you forgot. This is episode 12. 12, can't believe it. And this week we're in May 2007. I'm RGT. You may have heard me from the UCP, and I am joined today again by the Button Basher, the Joystick Jedi, the Pokemon Purist. It is UCP George. How you doing, George?
I am well. I don't think I am any. I'm definitely not the Pokemon Prestige, or what did you? Anyway, I'm doing great.
Pokemon Purist, because
the purist.
You tend to like the older Pokemon. You don't really play the new ones. So,
I see. In that way, I am a purist. You're absolutely right. It does me good to be here, ready to slide down the pole into the wonderful year that you've picked out of your brain for us to inhabit for a day. Just great to see the flashback journey continue, good sir. Thank you to everyone that's listened and supported and all that good stuff. RGT, serve them up a slice, friend.
Yes, so like I say, this is May 2007. If this is your first flashback, basically what we do is we go through what we would have probably been playing at this time. We'll go through 3 news articles of the era from websites and magazines. Then we finish up with what we'd be hoping to play with. And if you're UCP old school, you'll know of Stingray, who will appear showing us the games to play in his
good old Ray, mate.
Yeah, so it's just this little love letter look back to times of old in gaming. And we've covered everything from early 90s right up to 2014, and it's just these little snapshots. So always remind me of like the timeline if you've ever played Beyond Two Souls, where they just take random bits of her life. That's what we do with video games. We just take random chunks and away we go. So let's start with...
Okay, I was going to say one day we hope that people can unfold from like 1983 through flashback all the way up to the start of the UCP and then all the way up to the modern day. We've given the ladder now to do that. I quite like the Two Souls reference, by the way. I feel one day someone's going to rearrange this in chronological order. It's going to sound very odd.
Yeah, or they're going to play Beyond Two Souls, because I expect a lot of people haven't, and then go, that's what he meant. Okay.
Well, depends what version. Anyway.
Yep. Anyway, we digress, as usual. But
Focus.
Let's start with what we would have been playing. Here are some game releases from May and April. I should say it the other way around, really. April, end of April, May 2007. Quite a smorgasbord of games were being released at this time. I always look back when we go to these little random areas and times, and some of them you get and you just think, geez, we had a lot of games coming out in close succession back then.
A myriad of formats as well, RGT, which is the like we don't really see now, but yeah, very interesting.
I mean, even from mobile games right through to the crossovers between PS2, PS3, 360, there was so many games coming out.
And when what my handsome colleague talks of mobile games, we aren't referring to the ones you get on iOS or Android stores. No. We're talking to the ones that you used to pay like £4.50 and
full JavaScript, baby.
Type down a code on the back of a magazine to like an 0800 number. I don't even know where these games came from or how you got them. But they were dirty. They're horrible.
1 frame per second side scroller.
They were not worth you. They were not worth your time. And I'll tell you one thing: they weren't worth your money.
No.
What's pull a real game out for me, RGT? Wet my whistle with 2007's finest.
Well, on May the 8th, 2007 is one of my hidden gems from over on the Unofficial Controller podcast, and that is Driver 76 for the PlayStation Portable. I recommended this game a couple of years ago over on there. This is a great little game, and you don't really, even when I see driving game, like top 10 driving games for the PSP, rarely does this seem to come up, and I find it quite strange. But if you think of, like, if you've got a PSP, and you more than likely would have played Vice City Stories, Liberty City Stories, if you think of them sort of aesthetics, that's what Driver 76 is. Obviously set in the 70s, but it's pretty much mostly just driving based rather than out on foot.
You can get out the car though, can you?
You can, I believe. I mean, it's a long time
But
since I've
not
played
any
it.
time, but just
No, it's
mission
more
specific.
time-based escort missions. Ramming a car to stop them. All them
Yeah.
classic driver stuff. But it plays very well on a PSP. It's got that very cool sort of almost Starsky and Hutch feel to it with the sound and everything. It's a great little game. We were sort of looking off air at it. I think you could pick it up now for about £8, I think, something like that. Whereas when I done the Hidden Gem, that was sort of £2.50, £3.50. So there is these games are starting to get recognised a bit now. So if you're gonna buy it, I'd start picking it up before they get a bit expensive. But you haven't played it, have you, George? Not Driver 76, I don't
No,
think.
I was talking to you. It's in the script twice, which made me think it had two versions, but you confirmed it was only ever on
Yeah.
PSP. So, yeah, I've not played this. I like the idea of it. I do remember you bringing it in as a hidden gem from memory. I got a bit confused with another driver game, but no, this I've not played this, but it does appeal to me.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't port this to like a maybe because that was that era where that was, PS3 was coming out. This was more PS2 aesthetics. It probably would have looked better on a PS2, but it was a bit late to port it to that.
I
And
think
also,
so.
the game length is quite short, so it'd have been quite a short game for a home console. But it's a very good game. I think they were just in that crossover period where it just wasn't worth putting on a PS2, but it's probably not good enough to put on a PS3. So, but yeah, definitely recommend that. Anything for you on there, George?
The one I probably spent the most time on, and the one I'm emotionally charged to the most is Forza 2 Motorsport or Forza
Mm,
Motorsport 2. Um, I had a great time playing this back in the day. The customization of the cars, the circuits,
hmm
everything felt good. Over on the Xbox wagon, you didn't often have that many good stories. The first Forza was okay, but this one hit and it just gripped everybody on the Xbox ecosystem. This game was, I won't say shoulder to shoulder, but at least gave you Gran Turismo parity. But
mm,
then the level of customization you could do with the graphics and decal sets on the car. Like I remember I had an NSX and I put the classic Marlboro red McLaren colours on it and then
mm.
found a copy of it and sent a signature online and managed to use different bits of shapes to actually have it so it signed the roof.
Jeez.
Mate, I was really proud of that. Finchy was around playing Forza 2 when I had that car. I had a few others. I think I had a Nigel Mansell Renault of some kind, but it wasn't anything close to the NSX. It just
Mm.
looks so fresh. Had some really good times, single player and multiplayer on there. Obviously, if you were to pick it up now, you'd only be really looking at the single player component, but there's enough to do.
Oh,
There's
there
all
is plenty
the
to do. We recently played over on our Gen 7 playthrough on Uncontroller Podcast Discord. Um, and I've played Forza Motorsport 2 2 or 3 times. And even our most recent playthrough of it. It still looks fantastic for
yeah,
its age. It's the cars still handle really well, and that's that attention to detail like Gran Turismo does. That when you do an upgrade, you can feel it or you can hear it. If you put a turbo in, not only do you
yeah.
get that that lag and then power, and you get the noise of the turbo wastegate and all that. All the little bits all add up, so you can really transform a car. Very well done, and you always feel good sense of progression when you're playing it as well. So
Totally, yeah.
great
It
game.
ticked. It fitted the ecosystem of the Xbox at the time. It felt fresh, like
Yeah.
everything the 360 was bringing. It felt like a different take, um, which is something I really enjoyed during the 360 era versus PS2 versus PS3. The 360 was trying to innovate. Look at some of the games that came out there, some of the exclusives that they brought out. We've
Mm.
got Gears of War, we've got the Forza series, or they doubled down on that. It was Viva Piñata, if you want me to go even more left field, as an example of them trying something outside of the box to
Yeah.
try and get something to work.
Yeah.
And I admire Microsoft in this era. I mean, more often than not, Fable 2, right up until the dawning of the Kinect, really, they were untouchable.
Oh, yeah, they were smashing it. I mean, Forza as well. That was like, what has PlayStation got that we need? They got Gran Turismo. Let's make one. They didn't just clone one. They made a very close version of it.
They did.
Which so you don't want to have a game that's not as good, and then all your players and gamers go, oh yeah, I know, but it ain't Gran Turismo. No, most of them thought, no, this is Forza. This is Forza, and that was a rival, and they done really well. And like you
Well,
say,
what really
Viva
stuck it home,
Piñata and more left
yeah,
field stuff, they were really pulling exclusives out
they
from
were.
everywhere. And yeah, absolutely different time, very
It was in
different
this
time.
era that they landed what I would call like the mother load for them, which was Halo 3. Not only did that product arrive
Mm,
really well, it was presented well, it was advertised well, it reviewed well. Every single facet of it, from the story to the multiplayer, played well. The menu systems, the way it was laid out, was innovative and fresh. It
mm,
feels, it felt very much like the marathon kind of styling that we're seeing now was kind of how this was kind of presented to us.
mm,
And I'll be honest with you, there was nothing like it. And the online sort of the seamless functionality of the online compared to anything that was going on the opposite side of the fence on PlayStation, which admittedly was free, was light years ahead.
oh god, yeah. And also, you got to remember, 360 had that year boost, that year start.
It did.
So by the time 2007's
Well,
around,
that was
they're
where
two
all
years
your
into the ecosystem, whereas the
yeah.
PlayStation 3 was still relatively early going through, trying to get some games onto the system.
Well, this is that moment where they picked all the transient PS2 players up.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
I think they still fight. Those studios are ultimately those console manufacturers. Really, are still fighting over the subsect of the gamers that came out in the 90s.
Mm, mm, yeah.
They literally are those
Mm,
transient players that came off the PS2 because it was a hype wagon. PS360 came out, was all new singing, all do and dancing. They migrated over, but not all of them migrated back to PS3 when it launched or had got
mm,
through its, launch phase. Some of them stayed there and then went into Xbox One as a result. So
mm,
I think there's a lot still to play out from this era, even in the day that we find ourselves in today, which is February 2026. So
mm.
real interesting stuff.
Yeah, it was very interesting times, and yeah, they owned that generation for a long while. Then
Oh,
um,
they decided everything that went on in it.
another game was another hidden gem that I picked out. And this was April the 6th, 2007, but this was on the PS2, so a very late release. The Red Star. Um, if you've never played the Red Star or heard of it, it's like a side-scrolling sort of 2.5D shooter come beat 'em up. Um,
Oh,
Quite a
right.
unique,
You're a bloke here.
huh?
You're a person in it. I thought you'd be in a plane or something.
No, 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 no. It's on foot. You can sort of change between a girl and a sort of a big guy who's sort of more slower, sort of tactical, strength. Um, it's tough, but there's something about that game where you just thought this is quite unique. Do you know what I mean? They're onto something here. It plays well, graphically looks stunning. You can tell that's an end of a PS2 generation game, but I think because of when it came out, um, a lot of people missed it. That's why now a lot of
How much
people
is
sort
it?
of. I'm now looking up now. I mean, if you get a chance back, well, £6. You can pick it up for £6 on the CX in the UK. So you're probably looking less than $10 in the States. Um, and it's a brilliant little game. It was, which is odd because I think when I done the hidden gem, it was more than that. I think that's sort of the price has come down a bit on it. But yeah, definitely recommend a Red Star. That's that sort of what would you put it, like parallel sort of universe against Russia, and you know the rules and everything had changed, and the wars had gone a different way, and you're sort of fighting your way through to
Hmm.
try and take out the main guy who's been running the world. And really good, great little game. Definitely recommend it for a PS2 collection. What's up next for you then, George?
Um, I think the next one out of my pile of things I would like to talk about, but only very lightly because I haven't played it for a long time. Innocent Life of Futuristic Harvest Moon.
Oh, I wanted to talk to you about this because I
Clues in
had
the
this.
title, mate. It's basically Harvest Moon with some gadgets thrown on top of it, but really those gadgets are not much different to the usual materials and tools that you would use within Harvest Moon. Um,
So I suppose you'd have like uh, a crop sprayer, but it'll be one that hovers and not a drone and
I
waters the
think it
plants.
was something like that. It
Yeah.
was them trying to do a little bit something different. I think Harvest Moon had probably got a little bit sort of typecast Warcraft, it was only for a certain style of player,
Mm,
whereas this kind of reminded people that, hey, do you know what? This we do a futuristic Harvest Moon as well.
mm,
It is more of the same. If you like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley, as I always say, the game that everyone raves about, Stardew Valley, the PS1 version of Harvest Moon was doing all of that
mm,
back in the day. So there's a lot here. Innocent Life did have some of that relationship RPG element to it as well.
mm.
Obviously, it was an evolution of the PS1 version, which I always found quite cute. This is more of the same. I implore everyone to pick it. I don't know how much this is though, because you see it quite often. I wouldn't say it's. If this was more than Driver 76, I'd be shocked.
I think I picked up a few years ago, and I think it was pretty cheap. Yes, £12. I
Oof.
think I,
I'm
f-
surprised at that. I didn't
mm,
realise it would have
I
that.
think it's gone up because of all this sudden, thing back for Harvest Moons and the story of seasons and Stardew. They've come into this new cozy game sort of genre, and everyone
I
started picking
think
them up.
people have woken up and realised that Harvest Moon was doing things they didn't realise it was doing because obviously they played some earlier farming sims and thought, oh, that's it. Thank God for Stardew. But then probably went back and played the ones they missed and went, oh,
Hmm.
Friends of Mineral Town. Is that the PS1 version? I think it is, isn't it?
Mm, I think so. Yeah.
So good.
Mm.
So, I had a load of grown men round me. I was playing this while I was away back in the day, and every night there would be a gaggle of grown men gather round as we built my farm. Are you
Brilliant.
doing your game tonight, mate? Yeah, 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 oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah. Right. So I'd sit down around this tiny little PS1 screen and they'd be gathered round me like a cast of characters as we all kind of via, I don't know, the medium of votes and groupthink, we did this farm. But, some of them were so into it, didn't play games, but we're in an era where we didn't have a telly and other bits and bobs,
Yeah.
so you did find weird ways to entertain yourself. But yeah, there was a small window of time where some grown ass men gathered round and played Harvest Moon together. So there
Brilliant.
you go. It's that it's that good, and I think it was doing things even back then. I know Stardew is like the pinnacle of them all, but it was doing things back then that kind of blew their minds. Like what you can. I think in that one we were courting a woman with the idea of making her my wife. Um, but the idea you could do that in this farming game like blew their mind. It
Mm.
was it was really next level stuff. So An Innocent Life continues that. Got a lot to say about it.
And Eric Barone already said he made Stardew because he loves Harvest Moon. He just wanted to make his own Harvest Moon. That's what it was.
Yeah, well,
It's
it's
his love letter to
as I've
the
said
game
to
he
you
loves the
many
most.
yeah, as I've said to you many times, he nailed that.
Oh yeah, and
If that was his idea going out, he's covered off, and every subsystem that I've ever seen in Harvest Moon, he's included. The mining, the minerals, the relationships.
over 10 years of free updates completely changed the game from what it started to where it is now. It's
Really
just
good.
yeah, brilliant, brilliant. But yeah, that's really tempted me to start playing that.
If you've got
Mm.
it, it's
Yeah,
one
I've
of
got
those
it. Yeah.
games that I would say if you got your PSP charged up, and I still need to send you your.
Yeah, no, it's flat. I ain't got no way to charge it.
That's awkward. Get your PSP charged up, and this is how I played it. I lobbed it in, had it on my bedside. Some nights you pick it up, some nights you don't. You can always make a little bit of progress. And even an aged PSP will still go into that suspend mode and be
Yeah,
okay
yeah,
for
yeah,
24 hours.
yeah,
So yeah, you're all good. You're all good. Thoroughly get that in your system.
yeah. I'm
Uh,
gonna have to give that a go this week, I
Bar
think.
my kind of like one moment with Harvest Moon, I've always bounced off these farming games, really.
Hmm.
But I know that you love them. So to
Mm.
play one that you've never played before with those sci-fi, as I say, don't get too carried away with it, but with that added different interaction level,
Yeah,
which ultimately underneath it all real boils down to be the same.
yeah,
But it's a little bit of something different for you for a while that I think you'd really enjoy.
yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to giving that a go, I think. Next up, I'm gonna go with Buzz, the mega quiz, because
Yeah, we both said we were going to bring these down, didn't we?
I have had hours and hours and hours of fun on Buzz with from having the PS2 ones wired to having the wireless PS3 ones.
Which PS3 one
Jason
have you got?
Donovan.
Have you
Sorry.
got the blue presentation box
I've
for
got them
Buzz.
in the little red bag, sleeve bag.
Because
Mm.
my set came in a, I don't know, 18-inch by 18-inch square, almost blue velvet lined
Yeah, I know what you mean.
interior
Yeah. Mm.
that you put they were the wireless ones actually,
Yeah.
so maybe that's the reason. But I don't
No,
have that.
mine are wireless, but in the red bag, and I've got unboxed wired ones.
How many
But
different versions of Buzz have you got?
of the games they released, I've got them all.
Have you?
Mm.
What, even Junior Pop Stars?
Yeah,
Damn
yeah.
you.
Oh no, yeah. I
What an
just
absolute rogue.
well, we played it so much. I thought, well, let's get all the different ones, the '80s and the the big quiz like this one or mega quiz and all the different ones, Hollywood and we had so many. We used to take it on holiday with us.
I've even got it on PSP.
Yeah, we used to take it on holiday with us because that was just brilliant. Because we used to always go as a couple of families go together in the evenings. Kids
Couples.
go to bed, buzz out, few glass of wine, bop, 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 bop. Keep it clean, son. Keep it clean. Yeah, so it's just great, absolutely brilliant. Great way to have fun, and even now it still plays really well. With that end thing, where you can knock each other's stage down to see who can be the out and out winner. It's great fun, and also you got the added thing of Jason Donovan voicing it. Great game, absolutely can't recommend it enough. I don't know how much it is nowadays. Is it very expensive?
Don't look at me, don't talk to me if I can't pick. If this is flashback and I can't say anything about
You
what
can't
you just
keep
said,
it clean, keep it on
get
point.
yourself to the unofficial controller podcast where in at least 1 week's time I need to strip him down. I also still need to, at your request, investigate on the more adult show or the more open conversation show about his trip to Ibiza.
God, yeah.
Timothy and Kevin go large.
That in for this show. Um,
No, I know, I know.
yeah,
I've
it's
got this
still
list of things I want to talk to you about that I keep forgetting to talk to you about that you need talking to.
Buzz is still dirt cheap.
Yeah,
So
like book 50, book 50, depending on the version. If you want
um,
to get the
you
controllers, you're going to be north of like 20, 30 quid though, aren't
no,
you?
you can get four Buzz controllers in CEX for PS2 for £8.
They
Um,
work on P. I'd recommend if you were to get this though today in 2026, that you go for the PS3 version.
you can get the Buzz Big Quiz that um with
That's what I've
four
got in it.
with four buzzers for the PS2, still sealed in a blister pack for £12.
Oh, that's the clear plastic seal.
Mm.
That's a
And then
good
you
deal.
Yeah, and then you got like Quiz World is £6, Pop Quiz £8, Hollywood Quiz £4. So yeah, I mean Sports Quiz £2. They're not
These were
expensive.
banging when I had my backwards compatible PS2. Now I don't. It's a bit more of a hang on a minute, hang on a minute, hang on a minute.
Mm.
Let me change. But no, that's more of a modern technological issue rather than it is anything to do
Yeah,
with Buzz at the
but
time.
and people sort of just think of them as a bit of shovelware, but really they're a bit more in depth than that. They were really good
Oh,
quiz. They were laid out as a really good quiz game, good questions, great bit of fun, bit of variety in the rounds.
yeah.
Really good. Yeah, really,
The
really good.
interacti the interactivity with your family members or guests that you had around playing it with as well. Like you could, as you said at the opening bit there, there's a section where you take points off them.
Yeah,
He's constantly going through and giving you your scores as well, so you know where you sit with your family members. So there's always jostling in the room. If you've got the PS3 version, this is why I say, oh, this is probably the version to get. PS2 probably does the same, but the PS3 does it slick. If you've got the iToy camera or the PS3i hooked up, it will take pictures of you during the round and after as well, which just adds another
yeah.
sheen to it as well. It just makes it more fun. Yeah, I think. I mean, it was only last year was probably the first year in a long time where Buzz didn't come out for New Year. So yeah,
Mm.
nice bit of kit to have on the back burner. That real
Yeah, I
nice.
think the wireless controllers are getting a bit pricey. I think four of them with a dongle is a sort of £28, and that's because anything that had these dongles, people always lost a dongle. So,
So I was thinking it was up that far. So it's,
mm.
yeah, I want a million miles away.
And if
Okay.
you have got them, just remember take your batteries out.
Yes, because that nearly it didn't. The previous owner of the set that I had nearly like one of the wireless controllers is very dicky
Oof.
as a result of some seepage.
Well, I think I bought mine new in a bargain bin in Game. I think it might have been Game or it might have been. Game Station that might have been then, but yeah. So I didn't play a
One
lot
thing I
through.
want to touch on is PlayStation had Buzz, but the
Hmm.
360 also had its own quiz controller, if you remember that.
Oh, I don't think I do. What was that for then?
It looked like Buzz. It was similar in its look, but obviously it was white. They had a few quiz games. They had that one, most notably, I think it was what 500 to 1. That was a big hit on Xbox
Oh,
Live for a
okay.
while. And they
Yeah.
had some other quiz games. It was a brand that was associated to them, but I can't remember the name of it. But these in controllers were used in other things too.
Mm.
Messaging, not that I really care about a dead 360 accessory, but maybe I do. So please message in and give me the lowdown on those, and unless my mind's just playing tricks on me. But I seem
Yeah.
to remember that it was more rounded than the Buzz, and then it came up into a big circle at the top. Similar idea with the buttons down the front,
Hmm.
and then this big thing on the top that you could nail or press very quickly. Anyway, the other game I wanted to talk to you about RGT, and it's all down the accessories route, but I feel that, I mean, a good friend of the show and colleague, Mike Rouse,
Hmm.
had his hand in the development of this. It's SingStar.
Yes. Yes, he did. Yeah.
Now, I think you know if you listen to the main show that my singing ability is minimal to none. I don't think I've trotted it out on Flashy B yet. Maybe I have. I'm in that much of a fever dream these days. I don't know. But SingStar and the PlayStation 2 always made me feel like a real hero.
Hmm.
Um, the way it rated your score, the way it played the music video in the background, you didn't have to be the perfect singer as long as you kind of half got the pitch right. SingStar was very reasonably forgiving in terms of chasing the high score. It
Yeah.
didn't say, "Oh, you're an amazing singer." It never said that, but it certainly said, "Oh, you've scored well." Now that could depend on trying to find the right pitch as you sang it through. But once you nailed it, it was quite easy to gamify. But then throw that in with a load of friends, forget the score chasing, and you've got your perfect karaoke machine.
Yeah.
Now, there's many karaoke machines that you can get for parties and families and different bits and bobs, but more often than not, they're absolutely garbage.
Hmm.
What the PS2 did was bring Japanese quality karaoke really to the heart of your lounge.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
might be a
Without a
little
doubt.
bit egregious, but the TV interaction, the bouncing ball on the words, the music video in the background, the curation and selection of the songs. There was always something on these. Now there's a lot of SingStars because it went into PS3. There were like artist specific ones,
But that's
but
a good thing 'cause they backed it so well. So you had like
they did.
SingStar 90s, pop hits, pop world,
Well,
rocks, party, rock ballads, R&B. There's so many of them that you could literally go out. I mean, even now, I mean, they're £1, £2 now, but you could pick them up at the time, even cheap, and have a
well,
little
mate, yeah.
selection of games to sing along to,
In an unofficial controller podcast exclusive in our interview with Mike Rouse, it was outed that we would God of War 3 wouldn't even have happened
Yeah.
if the money from SingStar hadn't come in such an abundance.
Mm.
So it's some we all get sort of grumpy. I think, I lost faith with Microsoft when they peddled the Kinect out. I think I've equally got as frustrated with different things that PlayStation have tried to peddle across the years. But some of these accessories that us as mainstream gamers don't necessarily go for generate that much revenue behind the back door that they, in a way, do pay for the games that we love to
Mm.
see and enjoy. So just always remind yourself, and don't forget to message in and remind me, George, go easy on that peripheral, because it means that you've got that extra texture pass on that game you really wanted.
Yeah, yeah, and that's amazing. You'd only by talking to people like Mike Grace would you know of these things going on behind the
Like I
scenes.
say, I think he brokered that actual claim with us. I think we did a little Instagram post about it to bring people to the interview. And, I also, as we always do, implore people to go to research the back catalogue of the main show, the Unofficial Controller podcast, and dig out the two or three Mike Rouse episodes or more that we did. One focusing on Antstream, so that's applicable here, where it's the collection of all the dead games that they put up on the Antstream service, available on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. A great place to check out some of these older games that we've talked about on here on
Hmm.
GT.
Yeah,
And also
definitely.
about his tenure at PlayStation Studios, where he helped with, was part of the development team for the Getaway Black Monday. He was also involved in the SingStar games. He was
The
also
trophy system.
instrumental in the trophy system. You'd think a project that garnered so much support would put Mike Rouse right in front and center of PlayStation Studios' heroes. Luckily for us, he's well under the radar.
He's
He's
also
also
a BAFTA winner and also a BAFTA judge,
He's a
video game
BAFTA
judge.
judge, yeah,
Yes.
and he's also got his hand on a myriad of things. He's worked at other studios as well,
Mm.
working on the
Mafia
Mafia
games, didn't he?
games.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and he's also had his hand in developing PlayStation Home, which, if you consider yourself a PlayStation alumni, you'll have a lot of emotion about. So go check out Mike Rouse, his interviews with us, and his own channel, Retro Gamer Boy,
Mm.
on the
Brilliant
YouTube.
channel. Yes. On there
RGT,
on that tube.
do you want to give me a little thought on SingStar, or do you want to dive deep into that
No, I mean,
gorgeous looking news you brought for us?
I was never someone that really was into karaoke. I was always a bit conscious of singing in front of people. Never,
Me
always felt a
too.
bit, yeah. But SingStar, my mate got it, and he'd have clear the living room, stand in front of the TV and sing some songs, and he'd just be like, "Look, don't matter what you sound like, mate. I'm singing. Just pick a song." And I'd be, "Oh, so and so's on this." So yeah, go on, have a go, and we'd have a sing, few drinks, and it was just good fun. It brought karaoke home, brought it into the home, so you didn't have to be
It
in a
took the
pub in front of
embarrassment
everyone.
factor out. You nailed it. Yeah, you
Microphones
have.
were good. They felt like really good quality microphones. I've still got them wide ones. You had to be a bit careful you didn't yank them too hard, but they had plenty of lead on them. They were good. They sounded good. You could pick the games up
Do
cheap.
you want to
They
know a confession?
what?
I had SingStar. I don't know what version of it, and there was a song I kind of got halfway close to me, and I dragged a good score out of, and it was either Westlife or Boyzone. We Bit a little world of our own. I am
Yeah.
and no one else knows. And go. And my wife went out, and I sat because I was on leave. I sat from I don't know 9 in the morning till 5 o'clock at night, practicing that song over and over and over. Um,
Gee, I mean, mm, wow.
Little world of our own. I wake you up when no one else
Jeez.
knows. I got PTSD, and then she still beat me.
I thought you were going to say you come back with this heroic score. Nope, still lost.
No, I did, mate. Yeah, and then was ridiculed for having took the whole day to practice.
Uh, Worth it then.
That's why she's the ex-wife.
Yeah, the SingStar marriage killer. Anyway, yeah, so we covered probably what we would have been playing, dipping our toes into at the time. Games on PS2, 360, PS3, all that weird crossover period. There's many, many more games. I mean, you can look up online like we do for researching this show. Go and have a look and see, because that'll bring back some memories when you see these games. Hence what we've been talking about, memories here when we mention
Yeah,
these games. But I think it's time we moved on to
I'm
the
disappointed
news.
you didn't talk about the Equestrian released on April 27th, 2007.
Yeah, that ain't
You
gonna
just made a
happen.
horse noise as well. Did you realise?
That's why my nickname's Trigger. Um,
Primothy.
oh God. We scoured the very darkest back pages of the Gamer Mags and even delved deep into the interweb to bring you what was the latest stories in May 2007. First up from gamesindustry.biz. Would you like this one, George? Or would you like me to read this one?
No, I'll go for it, mate. I see you've lobbed in some French pronunciation. So, as my erstwhile colleague just mentioned, he's not my erstwhile colleague, actually, he's my continuing colleague. Gamesindustry.biz and Matt Martin on the 31st of May 2007 had this to say. Ubisoft eyes studio acquisitions. Ubisoft chairman Yves Guillemot has said that the company is on the lookout for possible acquisitions, although the publisher wants to stay cash positive. Ubisoft chairman Yves Guillemot has said that the company is on the lookout for possible acquisitions, although the publisher wants to stay cash positive. During a conference on the group's recent financial results, Chief Financial Officer Alan Martinez told Reuters that it was currently considering 2 or 3 opportunities with development studios, with the price ranging between 1 and 20 million euros. The idea is to stay cash positive, but will remain on the lookout for acquisition opportunities, said Gilmore. Yesterday, the company revealed profits for the last financial year of 40.5 million euros, a 70% increase over the previous year. Following the results, careful analyst Michael Pachter stated that he believes the French company is undervalued and expects the publisher to grow faster than the rest of the market. Interesting story to bring in here,
Yeah,
RGT. Got to
I
say
put
to
this
Matt
in here.
Martin, looking a little bit like Graham Norton there, but
Yeah,
that was a long time ago now.
I thought he looked a bit more like Alan Carr. Um,
You you're very
mm,
kind.
um, I put this in here because of Ubisoft of recent times has lost hundreds of millions on the stock market. They seem to be in free fall at the moment.
Well, don't forget Eve had his he's had his knuckles wrapped a couple of times as well. It's interesting to see that
Yeah,
infamous gaming celebrity crop up at the right side of the conversation about Ubisoft for
yeah.
once.
And this is a time, 2007, nearly 20 years ago, when they were going the opposite way. They were on the up. They were looking for
Yeah,
acquisitions. Their games
Assassin's
were
Creed
popular.
performing well.
Yeah. Um, that obviously were doing the Fallout, Far Cry game, sorry.
Yes,
So they had a lot of games coming out, a lot of games that were doing
Far
well.
Cry 2 hit well during
Mm.
this era. Phenomenal game. Still
Uh,
lauded now for its physics, etc.
and also, I think to look at 20 years ago, what we thought was a lot of money, 40.5
I
million
know,
euros,
I know.
is would probably make the first two missions of a God of War game, if that. And this is what the whole company was valued at. In 20 years, we're now, Microsoft's paying billions for studios, Sony's
Yeah.
paying billions for studios. Um,
It's the ever rise of a capitalist economy, I'm afraid. I think the good news story in here, RGT, is that the hobby's grown phenomenally. I think that's what you're saying, isn't it?
yeah, oh God, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I just found it interesting with Ubisoft, you know, as quick as you can rise up that ladder of being a really big studio, you can come down even quicker. The fall is as quick as the rise. But I just thought this was interesting that these were seen as some of the top dogs at the time. And until recent years, probably still were. But, they were quite open about what their value were. They were
Well,
quite open about
it,
what wanting to expand and incorporate new studios. And don't forget, they went for a bit of a period after this where they did pick some studios up and they were doing these little side games like oh, I had it as one of my hidden gems, the submarine game. Bless me, I
yeah,
can't remember what it was,
I
but
remember it.
they done all these little side games that would be coming out, and you just thought, oh, they got their fingers in
And that
so
was
many
developed by a
pies.
Sony-owned studio, if memory serves, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, it was. Yeah, there's
Oh, what was it called?
Song
Because
of the
I,
Deep, Song of the
yeah,
Deep.
that's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
brilliant little game, fantastic little game. So they were doing these little games like this, but they were also releasing your big games, your Assassin's Creeds, your Far Cries, and yeah, it's a shame to see where they went and where they are now. Yeah, they seem to went. I think they probably grew a bit too big for themselves, and I think most of their games went for quantity over
I think you
quality.
can
And
track their journey all the way back. I think I played No Second Prize on Atari ST was a Ubisoft game. They've been around
yeah,
for a lot longer than you
Rayman.
realise.
Yeah,
Yeah, French company,
yeah,
large, done well for itself, made some decent acquisitions along the way as it's
mm,
grown and changed. I would say in this era, though, Ubisoft was still relatively fresh. I think that people were looking on them as a revitalized sort of European package. It was fielding some good games at the time. We talked about a couple of them. They had lots of different good things coming down the pipeline as well. Assassin's Creed 2 span off what 2 or 3 games from itself alone
mm,
before we arrived at Assassin's Creed 3, which is a personal favorite of mine, but has had mixed critical reception. Over the fence, you got the Far Cry games. They were pumping. I would say that around this era, if they decided they weren't going to publish a game on your console, you're probably going to sweat a little bit.
mm,
But RGT is absolutely right. When you look at this lens, 20 years is really nothing for passage of time. But what that capitalist economy has done, and the ever-rising hobby has done to the fortunes of Ubisoft and everybody else that's attached to the ecosystem of gaming, for the most part, has seen obviously there's casualties, but for the most part, people have been dragged up by the bootstraps just by being on the periphery of the gaming experience.
Mm.
Ubisoft are worth a hell of a lot more than that now, and even if they were going on a little short acquiring mission, I mean, 1 million to 20 million euros, that will get laughed at on a
Yeah.
website now.
And the thing is, I think one thing you've got to say, I do tend to moan about Ubisoft, but what you've got to say about Ubisoft is their variation of genres of games they make.
Yeah,
They do like the Just Dance games, they do Tom Clancy, they've done a Safe Park game, Rocksmith, Assassin's Creed, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. They even done that Starlink, the battle games where they tried it with the toys.
yeah, with the peripherals, fair play
And
to
obviously
them.
one of your favourite games, Anno.
Oh,
You
I
know,
forgot that was them. Yeah,
yeah, so they've always tried different things. They've always had variety in their
they
game.
tend to build a totem around a genre and then stick to it. So Assassin's Creed kind of stroke Watch Dogs, but more Assassin's Creed owns that open world environment. Their strategy is Anno. They don't really sounds like they're really mess. I know in saying that though, I've seen various Tom Clancy strategy games. Tom Clancy End War, I think, was one of theirs from
Mm,
memory,
mm.
and a few other similar games. And if you think back even to like PS3 era, if this is one of theirs, and I think it probably was, they did some of those Tom Clancy sort of open world fighting games, very kind of mid PS3 life cycle, P360 life cycle that were probably quite
Yeah,
impressive as
like
well.
Rainbow Six and stuff, didn't they? And
I
they
think they had
also done.
a
I think they done the Avatar game, didn't they? That you played on
that was them,
PS3.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
latest version was also them
Oh,
from
because it
memory.
was. Yeah,
I
because it
think
was.
they had a hand in Beyond Good and Evil. Therefore, ergo, they had a hand because it was the same guy in
Oh,
King
yeah,
Kong.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they get about
Mm,
big company.
mm.
But I think the lens of this is really not just Ubisoft, and obviously seeing Yves Guillemot there on the there in the news is in a positive way is interesting. But I think the difference in the hobby felt big in 2007, right? You
Mm.
had the launch of the 360 and the PS3. We were riding high off the back of that. The DS was doing tremendously well. We had the PSP out as well. The gaming industry felt alive in some ways in terms of its representation on the high street. Never been bigger than this.
Mm.
Yet we're in a world where the high street is dead and the gaming industry is, what, 100 times the size it was based on the numbers you're putting in front of me now?
Well, I mean, they're saying they were looking for studios of a price range between 1 million and 20 million, which is absolute pocket change. Do you know what I mean?
Again,
That's
we don't know what they were looking for in their bid to pick up a one
no,
million one in this era. They might have been looking for mobile phone developers so they
maybe
could,
so, yeah.
expand that division because they saw a little, is this the future sort of thing? We don't know exactly what their acquisition plans were. But as you say, the important thing here is could you even get a mobile phone game company? Because mobile phone game companies are dead. So
Yeah.
bare minimum mobile phone company that you would think you could pick up would be Eric Barone, Stardew Valley, something like that. If you could
Mm,
try and buy him, you'd be thinking 1 to 20 million might get him out of his garden, but that's
mm,
it. And that's no disrespect to him, but almost a mobile phone game developer.
mm. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the industry's changed. The
It has
gaming,
changed massively.
the expectations of us as gamers has changed as well. So I think that's had an upward trajectory on the budgets and the scale that people spend their money on.
And I always
Uh,
wonder if like these, if they look back at these old articles and think, if only we'd have bought them, if only we'd have bought them, if only we
oh,
knew.
completely.
Because you obviously, there's certain things with it still is to this day with it's hard to follow trends in the gaming world, because what will be for 2 years, like Call of Duty or online shooters, after that they can fade away and there's something else big again. So you've got to try and predict to see where it's going to go. And even bigger companies have tried to actually push the market the way they want it to go. Like with Xbox and Games Pass, they've almost tried
Yeah,
to filter you into that system to say this is what you want, but it doesn't always work. And so at this time, you can imagine them thinking, right, what do we think's going to be big? Let's find some little studios that are doing good things and see if we can pick them up cheap and then and get them part of the bandwagon. But
Well, this era was like peak online. It was getting crammed into, you know, if you got
yeah,
online in BioShock, you got a problem.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you got serious issues.
yeah,
And this was that era where, yeah, great single player game. You're gonna have to shoe in a multiplayer in. Like what? Like Last of Us, prime example.
yeah, yeah,
The multiplayer's good. Absolutely did not need it, but because a game was dead unless it had multiplayer in this era,
yeah.
and that's hilarious.
You had to have a DLC, which they got with Left Behind on, and then they had to have
Yeah,
a multiplayer. You always had
yeah,
to have a DLC to get someone to download something, and you had
yeah.
to offer a multiplayer. And that's just what it was all about at the time. I mean, that might have been what the studios they were looking for. People with experience of online or can be making DLC for the current games. Who
Yeah,
knows?
well,
But
look at their sort of slow to medium incorporation across their own franchise. Was it Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or something, the one set in
mm,
Istanbul?
mm,
It didn't have online interactivity maybe in the way that we're thinking of, but it definitely had like the inspiration with the tower defense sections, and
mm,
I think there was some form of DLC within that. There was some form of like extra costumes within that. There was some,
yeah,
it was all funneling towards either A, as you say, cosmetic DLCs, or B, online. And when through the medium of online, then that whole cosmetic DLC cosmetic thing was on again. So
mm,
yeah, I mean, 1 million quid will buy you a studio that will draw you a load of different hats for your Assassin's Creed character,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
you know, it could have been anything at that point. But
Mm.
yeah, really great bit of news there. What's next, RGT? What else do you bring from the closet?
Well, this is also from gamesindustry.biz, and this is titled. Well, this was an unknown contributor on this from gamesindustry.biz. So someone done
I
a
was
little
going to say, this
article.
looks shady. What's going on here?
But it is EA shifts gears with Need for Speed Pro Street. Compete in the ultimate street racing showdown with EA's blockbuster racing franchise. Redwood City, California, May 31st, 2007. Electronic Arts Incorporates announced today that the blockbuster Need for Speed franchise is introducing a new version that drives the series in a new direction. Need for Speed Pro Street is a groundbreaking Need for Speed experience where you thrust to compete head to head against the best street racers in a multitude of racing showdowns. The game is being developed by EA Black Box in Vancouver and is slated to ship this fall. Need for Speed Pro Street accelerates street racing culture by providing the ultimate stage for the pursuit of street racing supremacy, said executive producer Larry Lapierre. This is a game about building the ultimate performance-tuned battle machine, taking it to multiple disciplinary showdowns all over the world, and pitting your skills and reputation against the very best street racers. Need for Speed Pro Street boasts impeccable precision and impressively detailed photorealistic graphics, effectively transporting you to the center of the action. It pushes the auto sculpt technology to a new level, allowing you to directly impact your car's performance for the first time, as well as personalize its appearance. Need for Speed Pro Street is a true taste of raw adrenaline and racing with consequences. Every dent, every scratch, and every crumpled body panel is a battle scar, proof of your commitment and competitive mettle. Uh, with all with an aggressive and skilled AI system, you become immersed in an unmatched, unbelievable race experience. Add in revolutionary online mode that will redefine the meaning of competitive social play. And Need for Speed Pro Street is the ultimate formula for an emotionally charged street racing showdown. Uh, Pro Street will be available for Xbox 360 video game entertainment system, PlayStation 3 computer entertainment system, and Wii, as well as PlayStation 2 computer entertainment system, Nintendo DS, PSP, handheld entertainment system, PC, and mobile. I put this in here because we've been chatting recently about Need for Speed in various different forms and games, and this is when EA was trying to shift from that. They still had the street racing, but let's make it professional more now. They were then moving the game over into a different direction. And you can tell even from this article, which is obviously written by EA, and that's why it's an unknown contributor, because every sentence starts with Need for Speed Pro Street. They're getting that name in your head every time. But it's Have you played Pro Street at all, George?
No, I Pro Street always interested me, I'll be honest with you, because it was a little bit more of a mm, return to realism. Is that the wrong thing to say about that?
No, I think you're right. That's where they were then shifting over.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Pardon the pun.
it in the moment of 2007, don't forget I'm busy playing Forza, which I considered a simulator. Need for Speed Pro Street, as much as it may have turned my head a little bit, I just never bothered with it. To me, Need for Speed, no matter what they did with it after this, I think we got Pro Street, I think we got another more simulator one. I think they've done enough.
Yeah, I think they done Shift, didn't they? Need for Speed Shift, I think they
Yeah.
done, and Shift 2. They were knocking these games out all over the
It
place at
felt
one.
like to me though, as a what I would call someone who grew up on Microprose's Jeff Crammond's Microprose Grand Prix Simulator, the first iteration of Need for Speed that we've talked about off air, Road and Track, which appeals to me very greatly. Although Arcady admittedly did have some sort of tendrils in Simulator, like you couldn't just bomb down these open
Yeah,
streets
I've always thought
without
that was
being chased
made
by the
more for the
police.
car fan, the petrol head,
Yeah, I think it's for
road
the
and
car
track.
connoisseur. It's
Yeah.
like we said off air. I think I said, "Here's the keys. Go check out this new Lambo," and you go blat it down some really great open roads. By the time Pro Street rolled around, as much as I love the underground Need for Speed underground games, the Need for Speed brand had been walked into what I can only call the boy racer Kevin territory,
Mm.
and the damage was done. And although they tried to reframe it under a more kind of realistic lens and then continue to try again and again, like I don't know, like for me, this was a franchise that I was never going to touch again.
Yeah, I think for me, I was a big fan of Need for Speed, obviously with your carbons and your undergrounds, and I really, really enjoyed, and it's still one of my favourite games. I don't think it's aged very well now, but I played this game to death, and that was Undercover. Need for Speed
Mm,
Undercover was a brilliant with that more storyline, undercover cop, and great battles. Really enjoyed that game. Had my favourite, one of my favourite cars of all time in as well, which I got from start to finish and just kept souping up, which is an Escort Cosworth. Absolutely brilliant.
nice.
And then they, like I say, they changed route with Pro Street, and I remember playing Pro Street because I was just such a fan of Need for Speed. And I admit, I thought, well done. There's only so many street racing gangs with a panther painted upside your car you could do. You need to do something different. Was this the way to go? I don't know. They went right off, and we were talking about this. They done the run, the shift, Pro
Mm.
Street, and they're all a bit. As
Well,
though they.
this whole era feels, as I think, as you're going to say, very experimental. They were just
Oh,
trying to
it was
see
because
the
everyone was so
direction.
different.
Hmm.
Every game was so different, and as we were talking about, they then done a full circle. Whereas to nowadays, they're back in that sort of street racing culture, almost back to where they were with the way the races are done, a bit more open world with heat and
Yeah, I don't
games
even
like
know
that.
where they're at. I think the last one I paid any attention to because its visual art style was so like visually arresting, like it would stop you in your tracks, was the one where you had the almost anime style animations on top of a very realistic looking Need for Speed game. What was
Unbound.
That's it. Now I know that wasn't what people
Yeah.
would want it to be, but visual wise,
Mm.
from the trailer, I know it didn't play out in the main game the same, but from the trailer, that thing looked incredible.
I really thought when that trailer came out, I was like, they're back. I thought they're
Yeah.
back to where they were. I played the game. I did. There's something not right with the system, but I played Need for Speed Heat. I played Need for Speed Payback,
Oh
and
yeah.
they were all open world with a bit of going back to a bit of what was there before. But they keep trying to introduce new things. I think it was Payback where rather than putting the parts on your car, you had to spin a roulette thing to see what parts you got each time. Oh,
I
don't
remember something like that. I don't
and
know
you
what
just
game that
the
was,
actual
but
open world of the game and doing the game was quite good fun, and I played it to completion. But keep rolling that all the time. Just give me. Can I just buy an exhaust and put on my car? I
yeah.
don't have to keep rolling, And that was all a bit. So they keep still trying new things to this day. I can understand the issues they got. The car world was a very different place in the early 2000s to where it is now. So
Yeah.
making a Fast and Furious inspired racing game, it's been done 1,000 times. I don't think it's going to stick nowadays. So this was that sort of start of them
Well, mate,
pushing off in a different direction.
you have just opened my eyes to a very interesting question.
Hmm.
With the state of the automotive world in as we find it, with the transition from ICE internal combustion engines to something else, be it electric, hydrogen, whatever, I'm not here to decide what the final modus operandi is for how the vehicle moves forward. But all the heart and passion of the car era is now, is already dead in some
Hmm.
respects now.
Hmm.
Any modern game based on any new automaker's output going forward is going to be damn near silent in terms of its audio output as a car
Hmm.
because it has no internal combustion engine
Hmm.
technology even allowed in it. So car games, I think, are probably gonna, unless cars start to attract people in a different way going forward, like young kids get revved up by the sound of its battery, or I don't even know what, or the noise it has to make to warn pedestrians that it's coming. Maybe auto manufacturers could have some fun with that. Some have, but it just sounds like someone playing out of a speaker, if I'm honest. It's absolute garbage.
Hmm.
So have we already had the very apex of car games? RGT is what I'm asking to you. Because anything past now is going to just be a retrospective tribute to an era in automotive history that when it was good.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you're right, and I think the games that probably will keep carrying on and bringing the new audience in will be your professional motorsport games, your F1. I mean, they could integrate, and I don't even know if they have, but like the electric F1 as well, they could bring that into it.
Formula E.
Formula E, that's it. You know, you could probably base games off that as that becomes more and more popular and more people follow. Um, so that I think the motorsport games always be there, but the car culture games is a tricky area to see
Mm.
where that goes because you're always going to have to look back to that sort of era. Whether you could incorporate a game that was more of someone who had you had a hobby of a classic car and you could restore this car, go off and race it, bring it back, earn some more money, do some more bits. I know it's a bit generic, but you could aim more at that sort of audience, the car collector stroke, connoisseur, because I think each car game is tried to style itself on the era of the moment, in the
Very
new.
much. And this is what I'm thinking, like
Mm.
what they do it, they can't do it anymore.
No, no, and it's a limited area, and it's worrying to see what happens. And like I say, this was the first time Need for Speed had to say, "Well, hold on, we need to go a bit different here. Well, let's try and keep it in with still street races, but let's make them legal street races. Let's try and sway it onto the track a bit." And yeah, I can remember playing this and thinking it didn't feel like Need for Speed.
Mm.
And I think I had some sort of fun with it. It's probably a 6 out
I
of 10,
think
5 out of
just
10 game.
the messaging to me as someone outside the ecosystem a little bit was just very confusing. You never quite knew what you were going to get.
Yeah, and even in this, they were literally trying to tell you this is what you need now. This is what you need to play now because this is all new, the new way of playing Need for Speed. But that didn't obviously stick, and then they went on to Shift
No,
and Shift Two, and that didn't stick, and the Run that didn't stick.
make your mind up, guys. I think
But then you had games like Codemasters were doing like Grid, which was no, let's keep away from street racing. Let's do some really good circuit race and career mode where you can progress for a career, and
I
they nailed that.
I personally still think Grid takes some beating. Like the
Grid's
first time I
fantastic.
played Grid, that opening level with all the ticker tape and stuff coming down at the start, like honestly, I was like, wow, this looks real. And
Yeah.
as you cross across the formulas, it's still a very, very, very rewarding game, and it does allow you, if you want to focus on certain genres. Like you don't have to go all open wheel if you don't want
Yeah.
to. But the way it progresses your career along, very interesting.
Well,
Very,
unfortunately, funnily enough, to link it back into the story, Grid
even
was
it was good.
fantastic until EA bought them and then made Grid Legends and completely ruined it because they tried to take it back to street racing again and that sort of, yeah, well, it wasn't street racing, but it was more edgy. It was taking that sort of Grid Auto Sport away from it, and Grid Autosport was one of them games. It was the first games I played racing online. I was
Oh,
decent with them.
really?
Yeah, I used to every night. I was drifting, doing the drift competitions online. Used to love it. Absolutely love it. It's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant game. Yeah, really good.
What? Give me an insight into your life because we've got similar age children, so they'd have been, going to bed early doors. You'd have been coming in. Don's, your beloved wife, would have been preparing you. What sort of meal would she have prepared you? Would you have scoffed it down and been like, "Oh, I've got to get this scoffed down, Don's. I've got to get online. Got to play. Got my
Just
drift championship tonight," and you're like sort of choking on it. She's like, "Slow down, Timothy. You're going to choke yourself."
Tomothy now. Wow. Um, I would be, yeah, I'd normally play while tea was being cooked, and then we'd watch TV together. But I had the fortune of finishing early than my wife. I'd finish 2 or 3 hours early, so I could
Uh,
play a few games, prior to getting home from work. So yeah, that was always good, always good. Keep it clean, keep it clean.
don't say that. You give me away.
I know. I want to give you away. You're not showing up. Um, right. Do you want to get this last piece of
This
news
is
on,
my
George?
very best behaviour show. This is where
I
I'm.
know. That's why I have to just sometimes just
Look, you
remember,
don't. They
George.
don't know what they don't know. But then
Okay.
you tell me off. You out my behaviours.
Yeah, wouldn't you?
And this is like a very nice audio pleasure area for people to be nostalgic. Um, I was doing some research on this just moments ago. Online market massive by 2012, worth 13 billion, reckons DFC. This is reported by Robert Pachise. See.
Eurogamer. This one is
Oh,
Eurogamer.
is it? Okay. So
Mm.
he's the associate editor, so you'd like to think he knows what he's talking about. And in some ways he does. This was 31st of May 2007 if you want a timestamp for the forward conversation. Industry researcher DFC Intelligence believes the online gaming market will be worth more than 13 billion US dollars by 2012. GamesIndustry.biz is reporting. It's where everyone gets their news in 2007 by the look of it. Digital distribution on home consoles will account for around 1 billion US dollars of that, apparently. But the biggest earner will be the monthly subscriptions to online worlds. PC gaming downloads and virtual sales are expected to make up around 40% of the pie. And while MMORPGs dominated online gaming cash flow in 2006, the report seems to think the fastest growing genres will I feel like that's where the comma needed to be. It will be the first person shooters, sports, and racing games. For PC games, digital distribution is expected to become the leading business model in East Asia, said the report. However, the video game console systems are expected to see strong growth in digital distribution, and by 2012, revenue from digital distribution on console systems is expected to pass 1 billion US dollars. Although East Asian countries are leading the online gaming market, DFC expects European and Japanese markets to bulge over the next 5 years. There's plenty more where that came from over on GameIndustry.biz, they say. RGT,
Mm.
I was doing some quick research earlier and I had to give Google a kick, not to just dig up this same article from 2007, but to maybe look at it through a more modern lens and what we know. What we know through the modern lens is by 2012, the gaming industry was worth a hell of a lot more than that
Mm.
by some significant margin from what I can find. But even then, they're floating numbers. In 2007, they think they're crazy, saying that the online market might be worth 13 billion by 2012. By all intents and purposes, I think it was worth about double that, depending on how you break these numbers down and what matters where and how. I think the numbers I broke down earlier were consoles, so they had surpassed this by 2012.
Mm.
I think if you roll in the MMORPG online cash, if you roll in some of the subscription services for consoles that maybe weren't at that moment, maybe as prescient as they were,
Mm.
if you roll in sort of DLC and cosmetics and different bits and bobs, so ended up being maybe a lot bigger beast by 2012 than it was even considered to be in 2007. So there were markets and games and downloads that maybe people hadn't even considered when this report was originally written. To think that they blew the doors off of what felt like a pretty healthy guesstimation at 13 billion and definitely showed incredible growth. Where we are now is beyond all sense of rhyme and reason. I
Mm.
think you could argue gaming is, especially now through the decline in sort of physical cinema numbers, you could argue the rise of the streaming services in terms of TV and movie, but you know, I think you can quite strongly argue now that gaming is probably the biggest entertainment property on the planet. Um, it's grown from being something that boys did in their bedroom to become something that the family do, that every sex and everything you can imagine in between has some form of gaming device in their hand or their pocket or on their phone. It is so much bigger than they could possibly have imagined in 2007 RGT. What's your take on all this?
I was sort of going back to one of our previous stories when we talked about Ubisoft and bits and
Yeah, I
pieces,
was going
and
to
we were
say that.
saying why would they just chuck and you need to have a multiplayer, you need to have an online in, you need to have a DLC because they were foreseeing that this was going to be big. They didn't get nowhere near where they imagined that was going.
No.
I think some studios still thought, is this a fad? Will this kick off? Is this a bit like VR that comes and goes and doesn't really stick? But I mean, you could, like I say, you can see why they wanted these DLC packs. You can see why, you would end, and especially with things like Xbox Live, digital
Oh yeah.
games was going starting to
Oh,
really.
and mate, they made it easy in terms of the cosmetics and
Oh
whatnot.
God,
Out
yeah,
of all the
yeah.
you go on the PlayStation store even today, and it's like, what the hell? But the 360 store back then was like in skins, cosmetics for your avatar, whatever. It was so easy to do.
Mm, yeah, and making it that easy meant that people really jumped on to do stuff. And I can remember the first time I think I downloaded a game on my PS3, and I was just like, "What the hell is it? Where's the disc?" I was like, "What?" And I think my mate done it first and said, "Have you tried downloading a game yet?" I was like, "Download the game? How do I do that then?" I was like, "Well, you download it, and I didn't even know, honest to God, I didn't even know I could put my PS3 online. Wasn't even aware at the time. And I done it. I had to try and get a long Ethernet cable. And they said, no, you can do it wireless. I was like, what? Wireless internet on the PS? Yes. And then done it, downloaded the game. And I was just like, wife come home and I was like, you can believe this. I downloaded the game. I didn't even have to buy a disc and then
What
leave the
game
house.
was it?
Oh, God. I'll have to come back to you now. I can't remember. I'll have to look back. I remember downloading it on my PS3 and just thought, the future's here. The future is here. And then shortly
I
after
only
that, I
ask.
killed my console playing
Oh,
Uncharted 3 because
I ask
I'd put
because
the discs either side and they fell on the system and blocked the fans off and
mate.
cooked it.
The reason why I wanted to know is because something tells me that you've probably bought this physical since
Oof, I probably have. Just
10 times.
yeah, I might have done. But I've got a funny feeling it was something not amazing. It was just it was one of them smaller games they'd do when they were trying to keep up with
Like
Xbox
Bejeweled
Live.
or something,
Something like that. Yeah,
Hegel or what was that
No,
one you said
no, I
you
know
were
what it
playing an
is.
episode ago?
I
It's
know what
that
it
in
is.
it,
No,
Spelunky or no?
no. Sparkle that was.
That's what I meant. Yeah,
I know what it is. I can remember now the very first game I downloaded. It was Uno.
mine might have been Uno. It was either Uno or something like Jet Force Gemini. No,
It
not Jet Force Gemini. Jetpack Reloaded,
it was Uno, and
Refueled.
I downloaded another sort of card game as well. It might have been Monopoly or something like that. Because when we'd go on holidays, we always had a pack of Uno cards, and because we took the console for Buzz, I thought, oh, I'll put Uno on. And we started playing Uno together in the same room, but on the screen as well, which makes no
I've
sense
got
when you've got the cards. But
it's not my confession to tell, but I'll give you the outside touch points, and you can determine this from yourself. But OG, you know, over on the main show, my original co-host Tom, OG as he's now known on the streets, he had an Xbox 360. He had the Xbox 360 arcade camera, and he
mm.
had a copy of Uno.
Oh, so you could play online.
See this as roulette chat, Omegle, for want of a better word, with a bit of a.
Oh, did he used to do his barn all up and have a shave?
I To be honest, as I say, it's not my story to tell.
He
But I think you've got the bullet points.
was sort of very early sort of Twitch streamer.
I think you're being too clean.
Oh, dearie, dearie me. Oh, I can't wait to see OG again and dig this one out of grey matter.
Did you have Uno, OG? Oh yeah, yeah, I love that game. Yeah. Oh, you didn't ever use the camera with it, did you? And then boom, just see where he goes. I think give him enough rope, he'll hang himself. If you're listening to this, oh, he is.
Oh, gee, eh? Why, how come you didn't wear a shirt when you played
Oh, edit this out. Edit it
it?
all out.
You're in trouble.
He only listens to the ones he's in, so we got away with it.
Yeah, good. But yeah, this is, like I say, this is so interesting that everyone was thinking, well, this online, this digital side of it is going to be big, and by saying that it's going to be, what do they say, 13 billion, and then you're now saying you've researched and it was 26, and you're like, whoa, they,
No, it wasn't. It was. I didn't report the numbers at all.
oh, sorry, I thought
So
you said
forgive
that
me
was
for that.
probably nearly double that. I thought you'd
I
said.
think it was nearly double that. I think it was even more worth more than that. Somewhere around the 18.4, maybe somewhere between 18 and 22 billion, possibly.
And I noticed as well, PC had a very big foot in that with 40% of the pie at the time. And I
Well, that's
expect,
what I'm struggling to pick out because I went down a specific route with this research before I realized it was rolling all of this in with
mm,
the all of it.
but I suppose for
So
the console world, I mean, PlayStation was right on the catch up with this. Xbox was going all in on online and
I mean,
digital
they
games.
knew from the get-go exactly what to do. They'd had a little bit of a soft launch with the original Xbox where they made it easy. The
Yeah, they did. True.
PS2
Yeah.
didn't. Obviously, the Slim did launch with the capability to Ethernet straight in the back of it. Obviously, the PS2 Fat did not. So
No.
then there was you had to sell another piece of equipment. The games online for that were pretty rare. It was
Mm,
SOCOM really and Final Fantasy, and yeah, that's going to pique your player interest because they're big franchises, but within reason. Over on the Xbox, you just kind of wang that Ethernet in the back of it, and Xbox Live was pretty slick.
mm,
When they got to the 360, I would say this: all barriers to entry in terms of the ability to use it were removed or
yeah.
definitely softened. I had a problem the fact that I didn't have any Ethernet cables that I could route at that time. Well, guess what? They did this thing that you could just plug in the back and it gave you
Sort of
wireless. It
two
had
little
these
aerials, weren't it?
two
Yeah.
little areas, quite a cute little thing with the little nodules on the back for it to click into. It was relatively well done, although you had to take a loose wire into a USB port to power it.
Yeah.
It was neat-ish, but it gave me that functionality. As soon as I got online and paid my 39.99 a year or whatever it was, everything was slick. Everything felt clean. You got in a game, it just worked. Your gamer tag followed through your online purchases, and I do want to swivel back to this. I found it easier and more acceptable in my mind to buy a card game like Uno or Carcassonne. I spent a lot of time with, or Peggle. These were small games that I wasn't really that bothered about dropping 2 quid and
Yeah.
never really claiming my digital ownership, for want of a better word. Somewhere, linked to an old email address that I can't remember what it is, I've got a plethora of trophy achievements and games attached to me that are just dead money now. And I kind of refuse to let that happen again. I think that's why a lot of us are kind of stuck in the ecosystems we found ourselves
Yeah.
in.
Very true.
Maybe when this gen ended and we went to the next gen, I think wherever you found yourself and phones are guilty of this as well in terms of the ecosystem that you're in. You kind of don't want to leave because you've got this kind of half invested value, perceived value in the ecosystem of the movies or the games or the apps that you've already bought that you'd have to buy all over again as you moved over. So yeah, the 360 made it easy. This was, I guess it was all up for the scrap in the 360 PS3 era, but I think by the time you got to the Xbox One PS4 era, whoever raised the flag at that moment was really going to be the winner. And I think that's bore out through
Mm,
this gen again,
yeah.
and probably will continue to do so. And yeah, mate, when this report was written, something like Fortnite had never even been conceived, and the mere penetration of fortune that Fortnite must resolve It's got to make these
Mm,
numbers look embarrassing in itself.
yeah, I mean, like you say, it was early days for it at the time, but I mean, wow, to where they couldn't even have seen where it had been now. If someone had
No.
come gone back in time and given the figures for where it is, they would have been absolutely blown away by it. Absolutely blown away. Um, yeah, well, there's three stories there. I hope you enjoyed them. Um, three different stories, but I tried to. The reason I put these in was because obviously the troubles Ubisoft have been having now. This was a very different Ubisoft then. Need for Speed. I thought this was quite different of where they were changing tact and route and trying all different things with Need for Speed that didn't really stick. But the franchise is still going today, so you know they must still get some sales figures. And then finally on to just the online market, which in 2007 was a mere drop in the ocean to where it is nowadays, and the billions and billions. I mean, I think the greatest ever or gross and form of entertainment is Grand Theft Auto 5, which is now surpassed. Oh God, I hate to think what it is. It's billions, and it's just incredible from a game that came out 13 years ago. It's just, just amazing. But yeah, so I hope you like those stories. But it's now time for what we affectionately call Stingray's Boot, whilst nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy for Battle for Endor, with some of the new releases for June 2007. And the Ray has pulled up, and how are you seeing Sting this week then, George?
Spring stop. Wow. Whoa. I am seeing Sting, not as a man, but as basically a cloud of digital currency. He's trying to get with the kids. He's
Wow.
turned himself in. He's very future facing. In 2007, he's turned himself into a floating NFC tag.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah,
He's definitely getting on the bandwagon.
he is. He sees himself as an emerging online currency. And young Wayne has stepped out. And this week I'm seeing Wayne as the last vestiges of the physical gaming empire.
Mm.
And I look at him and he looks very much like a he's got a very scuffed front cover. He's come as a PS2 case. He's got a very scuffed front cover, and his interior paper artwork, his album art, it's kind of it's got damp,
Mm.
and I think the disc is a bit scratched. But
Mm.
he's looking at me a bit like the cat, the Puss in Boots from Shrek 3. He's looking up at me with his big eyes, and he's just saying, "George, at least you'll own me." Like I can't argue with a boy.
No,
Like his dad, like I don't even know what that will be in 3 months' time.
no, exactly. Exactly.
Uh, I mean, it's got an odor to it.
Wow.
Yeah. So it smells a little bit like house gas.
Oof.
No, no, it's okay. Ray says he had a Scotch egg for his lunch.
Oh,
RG,
okay.
how are you
Yeah.
seeing the Ray?
Well, they've both got out of the car. Um, they got someone out of the boot for Wayne. They seem to be trying to keep this Need for Speed era going. So Stingray's come round. He's trimmed a mullet. He looks like a little Paul Walker. He's got a t-shirt on. I can't quite see what it says. It says the Slow and Curious. I don't know. I think he's trying to be Fast and Furious. Not quite sure. And then
Oh,
Wayne
wow.
is
Hmm,
Wayne's
hmm,
like a 3 foot Vin Diesel.
hmm.
He's had his head shaved.
Ah!
He's got a muscle vest on, and he's in a little Dodge Charger pedal car. But the problem is that's a cheap one, so he's having to make the sounds himself. So he's pretending to do burnouts and bits.
Mate,
But
I
yeah,
don't want to break the fourth wall, but we actually do that for the Ray family anyway. You know,
mm,
their car don't make a noise.
no, no, we always have to make noises up. Yeah. So these are the
Wow.
the new releases for June 2007. There is some absolute bangers on here.
There is some absolute bangers in here.
I know what I'm gonna pick out firstly anyway,
Go on
because
then, Hanson. What you
this
got?
game started a whole new genre, and we've been talking about racing games. It's got to be Dirt.
Sims Pet Store. Oh,
Sims Pet Stories. No,
well, it started a whole new genre.
yeah, but Dirt for me really. Do you know what I mean? They were doing things, Codemasters there that EA wasn't, and then it went on with Showdown and Dirt 2 and 3, just great racing games, and involved Gymkhana and rally and time trials, and absolutely superb games. So yeah, Dirt is going to be one dropping in my bag. That came out on 19th of June 2007. What about you, George? What's going to be your first pick?
I am stuck between a rock and a plethora of hard places, and I'm going to tell you why, because I'll tell you what I'm looking at in his boot, and I'll pick one from this group. Um, Super Stardust HD is one
Mm,
to note. Overlord is definitely another one to note if you like Dungeon Keeper, that classic game. Kind of is
hmm
a kind of fun take on killing the good guys. Lost Planet is, I think, worth an eyebrow
Yeah,
raise
I
because
still
that
never
was,
played that. I've
yeah,
got
well,
it, but I haven't played
360
it.
exclusive for the longest time. Did come across the PS3 in the end, so did the whole franchise. The Darkness, which is a big favourite of mine, that had some real props in it, including, I do believe, the entirety of To Kill a Mockingbird in black and white that you can sit and watch with your girlfriend in the opening of the game. Tell
Really?
me if I've misremembered that. Message
Wow.
in or message in and tell me no, George. You got that absolutely right. If you're
It looks
listening
like
on YouTube, drop it in the comments.
Harvey Retro on the front cover.
Oh, okay. Well, that's he is the Lord of Darkness, so
There you
having
go.
two snapping demons at either shoulder probably makes a lot of sense. I really enjoyed that game. I played it recently, just had a little thresh through the first one just to
What's that on? Is
top my
that
memory up.
PS3? Is it on
PS3
or?
was on 360 as well. I played it
Oh,
initially on 360. I played it again recently as a just to make sure I was mixing it up a little bit. I played it on PS3.
mm.
I also want to put a shout out for Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, and everyone's gone, George, you had all this credibility, nosedived it. That's actually a really, really great Harry
No,
Potter
it
game
is a
for the
good game.
time.
But
Yeah.
it's a decent game. Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was one of the first ones that really sort of grabbed the game. Really, it felt like a Harry Potter game, whereas the others were a bit based on Harry Potter. This did feel like
Yeah,
Harry
I
Potter.
think from sort of maybe Azkaban going forward, where they kind of stuck closely to the movie and the movie likenesses, like things were ever on the up and up. But I feel like
Mm.
Order of the Phoenix was like the very pinnacle of it,
Mm.
until obviously we got Hogwarts Legacy, but that's not a Harry Potter game per se. The other one I wanted to shout out was, and might be the one that I take home, is obviously Folklore. I think it's still a
Yes,
PlayStation exclusive from memory,
I
but
think it is.
a
Yeah.
really interesting game. I think it's probably about 15 bucks. I think if you wanted to try and pick it up, people often try and lord this up as a hidden gem. Even PlayStation tried to pass it off as something they cared about in the early stages of the PS3, I have to say. This game might predate trophies, actually, but get back to me if it doesn't.
Oh, it's a bit more expensive than 15 now.
20?
More.
Bloody hell, it's not worth that. What, 40?
35.
See, all these dudes doing the top tens on YouTube, if they're doing nothing else for you, they're making your pile of decaying plastic and silicon worth more than it probably ought to be. Right before the video game crash turns it all into.
A pile of junk.
We're there pretty much.
We are.
Um, Folklore, I think, is going to be my pick out the boot, RGT. I'm glad I gave the others a shout out because it was a close run thing, to be honest with you.
Well,
Um,
there was one I thought you might have looked at. I sent you a picture of this the other night saying, "Well, I didn't know Ubisoft done an Anno 1701 on the DS."
but yeah, that's really what killed it for me, RGT, if I'm honest with you. I
Like
mean,
the DS, you didn't fancy whipping out your stylus and having a little go on there.
it wasn't per se whipping out my stylus that I was so against. You know me, mate. Give me any excuse and I'll whip that bad boy out. I think it was more that I just didn't really see the DS of having the. I didn't really see it having the sort of grit to give me a decent Anno
Yeah, coming from a
experience.
PS5, you might find it a bit bare bones.
It would be a bit of a step back. And then I think in terms of the franchise's evolution, it would be another step back beyond that. So, yeah. Is there anything else here of note? Because there's a couple of other things I want to shout out.
I've only done one, so I'll shout a few more out. I
Yeah,
think
go on
that
then.
like I said Dirt as the first one, just because of how good that series is. I was going to say Harry Potter as well. Order of the Phoenix, like you say, from Prisoner of Azkaban on, they really did sort of grab the likeness, and you
They got
felt
it
like
right, didn't they?
they definitely did. What else was I looking at? Oh, Tomb Raider Anniversary. A
That
good
was the other
way.
one I was going to shout out.
Yeah, a good way
Really
of
great.
playing the games, and we did have a little playthrough of that a few years ago on our Discord, and it's a great way to play the
Yeah,
game.
I
You
think
know,
I
it's
played that most on Xbox, maybe from memory. But I tell
mm,
you what, no matter where you play that, and I've even experimented with that game. Um, on the show, we talk about games that end up getting ports to different formats and whether that works or not. Well, let me tell you, this era of Tomb Raider Anniversary, what was the other one that they did? Um, it
I
did
don't.
another one using this engine from
Yeah,
memory on PSP. Pretty much indistinguishable. You
yeah,
know, you're
yeah.
playing it,
I
it's
played it on
banging.
PSP. Yeah, really good, really good. Great way to play it on there as well, and
Yeah,
a big game for the system. You know, if you want that sort of treasure hunting game, having it on handheld form is superb.
I
And I
don't
was just
think I actually want to chuck it out there, RGT, that I don't think there's a game that can hold a candle to Tomb Raider Anniversary, all those Tomb Raider games on PSP.
mm, yeah, yeah,
The
that's
scale
great.
of it, the size of it, the production value of it, not even GTA gets close.
No, and I think if I remember rightly, aren't they quite cheap as well on there?
Yeah, I tell you one game that gets relatively close in giving you the big boy game chops on PSP is Warriors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because that's almost a straight up port. It's indistinguishable, really. You
yeah,
could get a bit picky and be like, oh, but hang on a minute, mate. Look what you're playing it on.
yeah. No, that's very good, very close. Yeah, 2 round anniversary, eight quid.
Really?
Yeah, 8 quid on the PSP. So,
Same price as Innocent Life, a Harvest Futuristic Harvest Moon.
well, that was 12 quid. So I
Oh,
think,
was it? Okay,
yeah.
my
So
bad.
I think
Yeah,
Driver 76. That's probably the same
that
price
was
as.
£8.
But yeah, there's some of our picks there. I mean, what movie are you going with, George?
Um, yes, I had one picked out. What you got for me, Ray? Well, it goes without saying. Now, I might be rocking the boat, but a film that I hated, but have grown to love so much. I think this was out in 2007. I'm going to take Transformers. Ray's got me a cam copy. The Michael
Nice.
Bay with Shia LaBeouf and Megan
Mm.
Fox. Initially, to me, quite insulting as a Gen 1 Transformers addict. But over time, I've really softened and just grown to just love it for what it is, which is
Mm.
basically popcorn
Yeah.
porn.
I'm going to go with Mark Wahlberg and Shooter, um,
Oh,
which really surprised me that this came out in March 2007. I can't believe this film was nearly 20 years old. But if you haven't seen Shooter, that is a game where he is like a Navy SEAL special sort of sniper. He does a mission for them really
mm.
good, retires for 3 years. Then they said they want him to come back because they think there's going to be an attempt on the president. And then he goes to try and help to work out where the shoot would be. And then there's all a big twist to the story. And brilliant, brilliant. The same again, action movie, easy to watch,
Can
popcorn
you
fun.
can by close of play this evening? Do you think you could rewrite the shooter's script to be about me, you, and the UCP?
Done, done.
Awesome.
Yep, absolutely brilliant. But yeah,
Patreon perk that you get to be in the movie if you pay us a
well,
dear.
steady, steady. We haven't even got a Patreon, so just calm down. Um,
Well, they could support us on the main show if they wanted
well,
to.
they could do, yes, over on the UCP, which is what was then going on to his Unofficial Controller podcast, which is a main show over 300 episodes. If you haven't heard that, go and check us out. Plenty of back catalogue to download, listen to, videos on YouTube if you want to see our ugly mugs. Well, mine anyway. Um, then
Whoa,
obviously
mate. I mean, I've seen some of the videos lately, and
you're a catalogue model compared to me.
I am no. I'm good from afar, but far from good. I think if you had a 50-inch TV, you'd be like, oh my God, my love, pass me the sick bag. George is talking again.
I doubt it. You've already got
I
fan clubs, we know that.
I don't, and well, so have you.
Mm, mm,
And I
yeah.
think I don't know last episode of UCP had come off an 8-hour Teams call. And I'm
and you
not joking.
and you still looked absolutely fantastic. So that just proves what an absolutely gorgeous man you are.
Ooh,
So,
yeah. Okay.
but yeah, so that's the Unofficial Controller podcast. Check us out over there. I hope you enjoyed Flashback. This was episode 12, May 2007.
Slow
Check it.
down. No, do some housekeeping,
Yeah,
baby.
I'm now doing it. You just
Oh,
interrupted
okay.
again.
Sorry. I thought you were
Horrible.
finishing. I was like, no, don't
No,
finish.
no. We've got our website. Go and check that out, unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. If you want to ask us any questions about Flashback, any questions about Unofficial Controller Podcast, any questions about um, the shows and what we do, or suggestions, that's questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. Send us a message, or you can contact us on Instagram, Unofficial Controller Podcast, on Retro Gamer Thomas on there. There's a link tree, so if you want an easy way to get on the Discord, we've had a couple of new people joined us recently who are joining in with the challenges we've got and our
Yeah.
Gen 7 playthrough. All you got to do is go on to Retro Gamer Thomas, go onto my link tree, click Discord, bang, you're in.
I
Set your little
think
profile up.
we actually might have turned on fan chat as well. So if you're listening to this on audio,
Mm.
click in the description and our podcast provider gives you the ability to text
Yes.
us. Is it text us?
I think just give us a message and that'll come through on Buzzsprout so
Yeah.
we can.
So we can react through that, come back to you
Yeah,
straight
you can
away.
do that. Like I say, that's the Discord. If you want to jump on there, it's a great group of people in there playing all different games from retros to, like I say, challenges. We've got RGT in the past with the Gen 7 playthrough, which this month is Remember Me on the PS3 and Xbox 360. We're also going to be at OLL 26 on the 11th of April. We have a table there. So feel free to, if you're going to that in Norwich at Epic's TV studios, come and say hi. Come and see what we're all about, and we'll have a little table there with bits and pieces on. We're
Doesn't matter
also
what show you listen to either.
no, and also as of this show coming out on Friday of this week, we are heading down to Bristol for on Saturday, which is the 28th, is Bristol Gaming Expo and Market. We will, a few of us just going there. We ain't got a table or anything, but we'll be there present and gonna, there's a few YouTubers going on that. We're going to be doing a bit of game hunting, doing a bit of shopping, see what we can find. So if you do see
Are
us
you going
again,
to put a
come and say.
flyer under every windscreen wiper of the cars that are parked in the car
It'll
park?
be in every service station from the A12 all the way through to the M32. We've got 10,000 them bad boys just blowing out
If
like
you
confetti.
find one of these flyers in the wild, take a pic,
Yeah, send it in.
send it in.
Tell us where you saw
Uh,
it.
yeah, and the maybe the most extreme one may win a special Georgie prize. I don't know what that
Yeah,
is
never
yet, but
know. Yeah, we'll
yeah.
see. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so that's all the housekeeping done. And like I say, this was episode 12. They're coming in thick and fast now. May 2007. Um, really enjoyed that. That was brilliant. Like I say, thanks for all you regulars who are listening. Thanks for the new people coming in. Thanks for
Mm.
the downloads. Give us a shout out on your social media if you get a chance, or give us a review. I know everyone says that, but it really does help. If you get 5 minutes, just give us a quick review, or stick us on your Instagram story, something like that. Check out this retro show, blah 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 blah. And yeah, we just really appreciate it. Like I say, thanks for listening, thanks for downloading, thanks to George as always for joining
Thank
us
you. So
with
see you
your
again soon. Thank you for
yeah.
listening. I'm
Thanks for your
loving.
infinite knowledge as always.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm loving seeing all the sort of traction and nice comments about Flash UB, but as RGT says, we need more. We need loads of it. So please smatter that everywhere or leave some form of review, interact
Mm.
with us, message in, especially if we've got something wrong, put us right. Questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. Or
Mm.
if you want to debate me on anything that we've talked about today, feel free to message in and do so. I want to say thank you to RGT.
No
Got a
problem.
load of bristling amount of content for you as well if you're into the UCP. We've got the main show, comes out every Sunday, ready for Monday in video and audio form. You're listening to this show now, it's a Tuesday or close to. Well done, you're a hero. You're one of God's winners. Yeah, why not? The retro gods shine on you. And then on Wednesday, oh, we've got nothing for them on a Wednesday now, RGT, because we give them double it on the Sunday now.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, but like I say, give us a review, give us a download as well. If you haven't, this is your first flashback. Download the other 11. That'll give us a boost. We're recording 2 shows a week at the moment. That's a lot of work, and we want to
Mm.
keep it going. So let's get them downloads in. Let's get a few reviews going. Make it worthwhile. Keep doing this. And yeah, I just hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, thanks to George. Thanks to everyone. And flashback, the games you loved the stories you forgot. See you, everyone, and I'll see you next week, George.
See you, everyone. Thank you. Take care, RGT.